Are we on? Hey, this is Chuck at Monocoque Metalworks. Today you can see that I am working on some previous damage / repairs. Well, that's really an echo coming off this thing. Some damage / repairs on this Series 2 center section. Now, if you kind of come in here close, you can see where I've just taken a simple rubber block sander and I block sanded this down like this, and that has revealed, it looked just like that over here before I did it. I knew, you could feel it. But the block sanding is going to reveal all your high and low spots. Okay, and then step one is to take my favorite dolly, which is a cheap dolly I've had since I was 19. Came in a real cheap kit, but I like it because it's got a beautiful shape for doing an E-type mouth on a Series 1. And then it's also a compound curve. It's curved this way and that way. And so this is my favorite slapper. I mentioned this in the video a couple weeks ago when we were doing that roof. This is out of a Harbor Freight door skinning kit. You can buy the whole kit for 20 bucks. I have bought several of them, taken the slapper out and thrown it away. Not the slapper, I keep the slapper and throw everything else away. What happens after a couple of years is they break right here. But you'll see I have a very expensive Martin slapper here, and it is thinner and has a lot less weight to it. And I like the weight for going ahead and working on steel here. This probably work a lot better on aluminum, but we don't do a lot of aluminum here. And so what we're doing is we've got our, see, look at this area here. If you see, kind of zoom in on an area where it's dark and you can see how it's lower. See, this is what I was working on. And then we're just gonna just bringing up that low area, and I'm putting a little bit of pressure underneath, and I'm slapping it. And because the slapper is a lot wider than a hammer, it is pushing down in a wide area until it pushes these high spots down and brings the low spots up. Now you can see where somebody has already worked this panel in the past. And, it's better than a lot of what we see, but it's not great. And see these little marks here? These are from a shrinking hammer. Now, a shrinking hammer, you get a shrinking hammer in every kit of hammers and dollies. And unless you are a professional metal worker that's doing this all the time, I recommend taking the shrinking hammer out of the kit and throwing it directly in the trash. You can see that our hammer here, I use this end of it a lot for getting around into things, but this is the serrated shrinking head. I've painted it yellow because too many times I've picked this up and hit the panel with it thinking it was another hammer and put these marks in there. All it's good for is marking up panels unless you know exactly what to use it for. We never use a shrinking hammer around here. We use a shrinking disc. And so someone has figured out they put too much stretch in here, and so they think that just by magically beating the hell out of it with a shrinking hammer, that's going to fix it, but all it does is put these marks in here. All these grinder marks are from the past too. Now right here, someone has just gone berserk. A lot of times this will happen in a body shop where they come across a high spot and they just whack it down with a hammer and then put some more filler in it. You got to watch for that with whatever body shop you go to. You can see this is deep. And so I may have to actually get a torch out and do some really old school shrinking to bring that up. And then the last thing I was going to show you, one thing I wanted to mention, on your slapper, they come with sharp edges. You can see where I've rounded the edges because if you hit just a little off course, you'll really put some marks in there. So if you're going to try the slapper and dolly thing, make sure you round these edges. So this is a profile gauge. It's adjustable. You can see I've put that right there. Fits that beautifully. Now, it never fits side to side absolutely perfectly, but it's usually real close. As you can see, this is out of whack. That's kind of close, but I'm off here by 3/8 of an inch, so I need to kind of reshape this after I smooth it out. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is, when they did this repair, The standard Series 2 headlight bucket is riveted in 4 places here with these little button head rivets that also hold the chrome. God, I'm out of breath, I'm trying to talk so fast. You can see over here, after this wreck, classic maneuver. Instead of keep trying to shape the metal and get everything perfect so the bucket fits where it used to, they just re-drill new holes. And now, you can see how the bucket is now all cockeyed and down here. So when you're working this, don't re-drill a bunch of holes. It fit in those original holes once. You've got to work it until it fits in those original holes again. That's pretty much it. I'm going to keep doing the Dolly and Slapper work here. We'll go over it with a shrinking disc to smooth it out. I'll kind of make sure I've got this roll closer and we'll be okay. Otherwise, this is a beautiful Series 2 center section. All right, hope that's some tips for home. Thanks for watching. Hey, I'm back. This is just a quick little intermediate video to show you guys. I'm done all the Dolly and Slapper work. This big hole came up pretty well. I did put some heat into it to shrink it up some, and now it's a little high. It's kind of popped back the other way, but I'm thinking a big shrinking disc will bring it down. I've reshaped this a little bit, had to work it from both sides. Here's what we've got now, and as you can see, it is not quite right, but it's pretty close. It's a lot closer than it was, and I'm thinking with some of this shrinking in here, it's going to bring that down in a little nicer. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So there you go. I'm going to do the shrinking now and then scuff it and finish it up. Okay, now I'm behind the camera. I just finished the shrinking here, and you can see that's where you get all this burnished surface, and this is like as smooth as chrome. So you do have to scuff that back down when you're done. You can see this is that big dented area because I put a lot of heat in there. And then one thing the shrinking does is bring up and show the image of all the crazy work that's been done on this in the past. So I have not touched this with anything except a dolly and a slapper and the shrinking disc, which doesn't abrade the metal at all. And so, you can see I can't help moving my hand on here to find the spots, and it's not quite absolutely perfect, but little skim coat of like a high build primer will get it. And we are actually going to be doing a Series 1 headlight conversion on this bonnet, and so I can't really get the shrinker in here anyway, and I'm also going to be doing a TIG weld all along here to put that step in. So I will doctor this up after that is complete, but I wanted to get this done first. So if you look at the fluorescent lights in the ceiling, the reflection of them, and then you move back and forth.